Thanks very much for inviting me to speak this morning. I think I've got an interesting perspective on combining multiple channels to a multi-channel strategy and solution. This morning is to share some of those personal experiences with you and to potentially demonstrate some of the lessons learned, some of the opportunities and some of the exciting ways in which to engage your customer. So more about Aurora as a group of companies. Aurora Fashions comprises Oasis, Coast and Warehouse. Karen Millen is now a separate trading entity, but the way in which the business is set up is that its brands are allowed to effectively create their own customer proposition. The buying and merchandising teams within each brand are autonomous, and the brands are backed up by common shared services in group distribution, IT, audit, finance, strategic development, etc. I just mentioned that Karen Millen was separated out of the Aurora Group in March of this year. And in terms of the outsource operations, those took effect from the 1st of February this year. So IT and group distribution were outsourced from that point. Okay, so Aurora is very much an international business, as you can see. Karen Millen being the business that trades most internationally. Various operating models for the business in terms of joint venture, franchise operations and self-owned stores. The main growth areas for Aurora as a business are very much in international penetration, and you can see here the pink areas effectively are the global territories in which Aurora operates. So international challenge that Aurora had 12 months ago was it was operating in multiple selling channels, online, in-store, mobile. However, it had a strategic aspiration to consolidate those channels into a multi-channel customer proposition. It wanted to retain brand consistency and consistency of customer experience across those channels. And my challenge as program manager for the change program to align those channels was to introduce the technology to support those aspirations. So how could we provide IT solutions and services to join, excite and enhance the customer experience into a consolidated retail proposition without diluting the brand identity? That was the key challenge. So let me introduce you to the channel agnostic customer. You, as consumers, may have a preferred shopping channel. I certainly do. I prefer not to go to the high street and sit in front of my PC and order online personally. My wife has a different approach. She likes to go down to the high street and browse multiple shops and ultimately make her purchase decisions that way. I'm going to refer to some research in due course which demonstrates that consumers do still have channel preference. However, I think the importance is that there are a subset of consumers, an important subset of consumers that are actually channel agnostic. They don't care which channel they shop in. They want to engage with the product. They want to engage with the service that you're able to provide. But importantly, they're engaging with your brand. Particularly in fashion, consumers have an emotional attachment to a brand. And what we wanted to do at Aurora is to ensure that customers have the opportunity to engage in whatever channel they wish, and that the proposition by channel is consistent, and again, that the brand identity is consistent. Same destination, different vehicle, and I probably ought to apologise for my PowerPoint skills there, but this is effectively where we were 12 months ago. Our customer base was able to shop in bricks and mortar stores, on the website and on a mobile site, a mobile site optimised for use on smartphones at that point in time, I hasten to add, but different shopping channels. And again, the message behind this slide is, regardless of which channel the consumer chooses to shop within, we want to retain that consistent experience. Okay, so by leveraging the customer interaction and supply chain potential across the channels, we at Aurora have been able to introduce enhanced services that can be offered to the customer. And all Aurora brands, I hasten to add, trade within the channels that you can see on this slide here. Okay, so this statistic, this quote comes from 2005, and I'm willing to bet a small percentage of my mortgage that the number of customers now is a higher percentage of those customers expect a channel agnostic experience. So within Aurora, the channels to market, mobile, web, and in-store, but extending beyond that, the customer interaction, regardless of the consumption channels, extends beyond that. So customer services, actually supply chain as well, how do you receive your package, and how are you able to return your product back if you do so desire. That interaction and that experience extends beyond the consumption channel. But again, the consumer expects that that interaction is consistent regardless of how they're interacting with you. So part of the program was about consistency of experience, so consistency of customer interaction, brand identity, product quality, support services, and in some case across the channels, price. The project, in terms of moving from multiple channels to multi-channel, initially the project was about consolidating the in-store and online experience. So to introduce the following customer propositions. So the new customer service touchpoints that we've introduced are the ability to reserve online and to collect in store, the ability to order in store for home delivery, the ability to reserve in store A for collection in store B, and importantly, to deliver the single view of the customer across those selling channels. So in terms of technology solution, we wanted to introduce a back-end architecture which was capable of processing multi-channel transactions where a transaction is instigated in channel A but potentially fulfilled out of channel B. So the next part of the presentation is about how the IT function was transformed effectively to underpin the multi-channel proposition within Aurora. We recognised fairly early on in the delivery process is that actually to set ourselves up for multi-channel in terms of the program delivery and also multi-channel moving forward, we actually wanted to realign, restructure the IT function. So the selling channel responsibilities were given to me to look after. Historically, I'd looked after store systems in isolation, but e-commerce was brought in line underneath my management from an IT development perspective, recognising that a proposition developed for the web channel needs to be consistent with the store channel to effective a multi-channel strategy. So in terms of beyond the development process then, we embarked on a series of workshops to make sure that our support providers at first, second and third line also understood the concepts of multi-channel service delivery, because as you can see, the customer experience is to shop potentially in brand A, to have her product physically delivered by, channel A, product physically delivered from channel B. And what we wanted to make sure is that our support colleagues understood those concepts so that they were able to resolve any issues for the customer and from a technology support perspective as quickly as and as efficiently as possible. We set out achievable objectives. The program was delivered over the course of a 12-month period. In order for us to do that, we did set out from the start to say that actually we'll create a blueprint for the first brand that we put the integrated store solution into. And because Aurora is a multi-brand organisation, we rolled that blueprint into the other brands. And that was to protect the speed to market, because Aurora felt that was particularly important. But what we haven't done in doing that is compromise any of the individual brand identity. So it's a consistent shopping experience for their customers without diluting that brand identity. Trusted supplier relationships is absolutely key. We needed to ensure that we leverage the trusted supplier relationships that we have with technology partners and for partners that provide ongoing support services. However, the single most important piece in terms of supporting the program delivery was to ensure that the business were advocates of the change that we wanted to deliver. In this particular example, IT provided the thought leadership. IT put forward the product to introduce into the business. However, IT couldn't instigate this program on its own, and we needed strong brand advocacy at all levels from day one, hence why the warehouse managing director was happy to sponsor a video outlining what we'd achieved. In terms of IT technology then, I've mentioned foundations in terms of the multi-channel foundations that we've put in place, but Aurora's approach to systems delivery has been to provide common systems platforms across all brands with multiple instances of those particular systems. More recently, Aurora, having had the foundations in place, is able to overlay solutions which transcend the brands. So a customer service application has recently been put in, which is a multi-channel customer service solution, enabling customer support colleagues to identify orders in the order fulfillment process across all of the channels. So, but it was the core foundations, the foundation architecture, which has facilitated Aurora to be able to do that. So in terms of consolidating that customer experience, we've mentioned technology, but that transformation lead time has taken a while. Aurora as a group of... So I guess the fruits of our labour are now being exploited. Aurora recently announced that it's now able to introduce a 90-minute delivery promise to its customers, for example, which literally you're online, you could have your products with you at your home in 90 minutes time. That's a fairly small scale at the moment, however that's quite significant, and it's the foundations of the multi-channel solutions that are enabling them to do that. I mentioned the single customer view, and the customer, clearly the theme throughout this presentation is that the customer is at the heart of what Aurora is trying to achieve. It's very much a customer-centric approach, and one of the deliverables from the project was very much to ensure that all customer information where a customer converts, regardless of the channel that they're shopping in, that customer transaction is logged into a single CRM database, and we're able to see what customer activity is happening across all of the channels. That will be, it's early days, because the process of capturing that customer information across the channels into that single CRM database is only effectively 6 months old, so it's early days to see how Aurora is going to use that information. However, they have the capability to do that now. Beyond the selling channels is the requirement to ensure that we've got channel agnostic customer support. So again, the customer journey extends beyond the transaction. That's absolutely key. You all know yourselves, if you bought something, you're not happy with it, you want to return it, you actually want that seamless customer service experience. So again, the customer service teams need to understand what it means for a customer to transact in each of the channels, and what the supply chain fulfillment processes are behind each of those channels in order to provide the optimal aftercare support. So whether that's reverse supply chain, so taking products back, whether that's payment processing, you require a refund, or whether you've just got a query about the product itself, the customer support teams need to understand that multi-channel proposition. And then IT services. So what Aurora now needs to do in terms of additional IT service providers or existing IT service providers is to ensure that they understand the multi-channel proposition, and any new initiatives that's brought to bear has to consider the implications of multi-channel support. It's not just supporting a single channel anymore. I'm just going to finish with a research report that's been conducted by Retail Assist recently, which just outlines some interesting statistics. I think lots of businesses have multiple channels as opposed to multi-channel solutions, in the same way that many have interfaced their systems as opposed to integrated their systems. And I think these statistics demonstrate that actually customers want and expect a multi-channel experience. You can see here that mobility is clearly on the increase, and the statistic that 2015 more customers are going to be browsing the web on their mobile device and potentially transacting via their mobile device than using a PC is extremely powerful. But my concluding comments are that the evidence you can see here suggests that multi-channel consumption is on the increase. Aurora has firm foundations to further enhance the multi-channel proposition and multi-channel customer experience. And in terms of IT service providers, then they have to be in a position to support multi-channel retail businesses. And I'm sure every service provider here today is in a good position to do that. So thank you very much.